Hey, here I am and welcome back. I just realized I never really introduced myself, do I? I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start saying, hey, here I am and welcome back. My name's Nathan, blah, blah, blah. Let's do that. Okay, let's go. Take two. Hey, here I am and welcome back. My name's Nathan and today I'm going to take you through a sketchbook tour. Not so long ago, maybe a month ago? Wow, less than a month ago, only 3 weeks ago. Only 3 weeks ago I did a sketchbook tour, but that was of my much bigger sketchbook. Well, much bigger, twice the size. It was quite a long video and I didn't really get to talk about it as much as I would like. So now I'm over halfway through this slightly smaller sketchbook. So I'm going to do half a tour and then when I finish it, I'm going to do the other half. So hopefully you're going to get a bit more information about what I've done in here and the video won't be so long. So let's get out and about. This sketchbook is about half the size of the sketchbook that I did in my last sketchbook tour, which was April 2024 to August 2025. I'm going to write on here the same thing, which will be February 2025 until whenever I finish it. They are both Hannah Muller. As you can see, they both have the same cover. This is half the size, so where you would have one page, you've got two here. So let's start. This starts in February 2025 this year. And on the first page here you have all of my urban sketching products. I do have a couple of extra ones as well, but these are my go-tos that I use all the time. Here we have the palette that I use, which is this one. It's in Bruno Flake, which was made out of one of my granddad's old tobacco tins. And in there I have 6 Daniel Smith colours and 2 Winsor & Newton colours there. I do want to mix this up because I want to have a cold and a warm of each colour. So we have that. We have my putty rubber, which I use all the time. My spray bottle, which I use for activating the paints. Got this pen here, this pencil here. This is my water brush. I always have waterproof ink in my pen. This is also a fountain pen which has a bent nib, which also has waterproof ink. This is my new discovery, this pen I'm actually going to show you. I really struggle to find white pens that I like. And this one I just discovered, I've never heard of it before. It's called Pen Touch by Sakura. You need to shake it before you start. But it has like a fine liner nib. So it's much nicer, much more reliable than the gel pens for me. Stabilo 88 pen. This one I've only just got into using, but you can use it for nice monochromes, which I'll get into in part 2 of the sketchbook tour. Anyway, so let's get started. These are 2 little sketches from when I went to Madrid on the 4th of February. This is Parque del Retiro. As you can see, everything is not in perspective. Actually, it should have been, I don't know, curving downwards away from me, but I really don't mind. It was a quick sketch. It was done plein air and I had a great time. And I remember the weather. I remember I actually went to paint something else and I couldn't because it was covered in scaffolding. So I sketched this and I went through this phase of doing little swatches of the colors that I used, but that didn't last very long at all. I might bring it back some point. This is Plaza de Castilla. This is like the main business district of Madrid. It's quite famous for these 2 leaning towers. Something else I'm going to say is I started writing in my sketchbooks, kind of journaling, but here I'm being very factual and later it develops into more of a journal, as you'll see when we get to it. This is Avila. This is a small town on the outskirts of Madrid and it has this big long wall, this medieval wall, which I found very interesting, which has 88 towers and it's 2.5 kilometers long. Again, I'm being very factual here with my writing. And outside the cathedral, there's all these different lions that sat on these kind of plinth things. And it looks like my drawing is terrible, but it's actually not that bad. This is what they look like. Their bums are hanging over the edge of the plinth. And this, I used just the Stabilo and the water brush just to try and do something a little bit different. This is Templo de Debod. This is one of my favorite places in Madrid, actually. This was an old part of a temple that was given to Madrid for helping out with the, I have it written here somewhere, with the Aswan Dam project. Spain helped Egypt with this, so as a gift they were given Templo de Bod. This took me like an hour to make, and I made an ASMR video for it. If you want something to relax to, maybe you can check out that video up here. This was my last day in Madrid. This is right in the center, and this is very iconic. And I added some little people into my sketches, which I don't do very often, but I did here, and I like it. It kind of brings it to life a little bit more. Also, in this sketchbook, which I didn't do so much in the other, I've been adding frames. Not always, as you can see, but I've been adding frames. This is the Bridge House in Ambleside in the Lake District in the UK, which isn't far from where I am from. This was one of my goals. I really wanted to sketch this because I think it's so cute and it's so cool that it's on this bridge. Apparently it was used for storing apples, which I think I've written of here. Yes, it used to be an apple store. Again, very factual here. And this is the Waterhead Inn. I also did an ASMR video of this one, which is much shorter. I think it's about 30 minutes. If you want to check that out, it's nice and relaxing. And you see the whole thing in real time, watching this come together. Now here I made a mistake. This is Gelida. This is a small town near Barcelona. And I went with my friend Owen, and we got lost several times. And then I painted this upside down. And this was the first time that I actually started more journaling and talking about the experience of painting this than being factual. So this talks about my day out with Owen. Owen also did some sketching. He's not a sketcher, but he did a really good job. And yeah, I got really nice memories of that day out with him. Then I fixed myself and went back the right way up. I went for a weekend to Rome, primarily for sketching, really. And again, I'm journaling rather than being factual. I went to Terme di Caracalla. Don't know if my Italian pronunciation is correct. And here, this was the top of a column, and I like the scrolls, I think these are called. Yeah, column scroll, I've written it there. And I just did this in my brown fine liner, and a little boy came to talk to me. He didn't speak any English, but it was really cute. He stayed and he watched me sketch that. This is a section of a mosaic, and this is a bull. These are a couple of the towers. I made a video about all of this page, actually, in Rome. The Colosseum. I did this one using my watercolors from Timone Arts, which are homemade watercolors. And this one I painted first, and then I sketched later. And that's why some of these arches aren't lined up exactly, but I really like the looseness that it gives. I used colors that aren't the real colors, you know. Who says I can't use pink and yellow and purple? And this went through a terrible, ugly stage, but I really like the way it finished in the end. Oh, this is one of my favorite sketches I've ever done. This was just of like an ice cream truck selling snacks and drinks. I really like the little people they've put in here. It looks really cartoony, but I just think it looks really cool and cute. So that was in Villa Borghese in Rome, just at the top of the Spanish Steps. Then I went to Piazza Navona, and I sketched this busker. He only came for one song, so I had to sketch it really quickly. And I am really working on sketching people at the moment, and I think I did quite a good job. I really like the color that I got in the ground here. The contrast of the orange and the blue, because they're complementary. I thought it was brilliant. Loved it. Piazza di Santa Maria Maggiore, I think it's pronounced. Now, this is where I had the worst pizza of my life. And in Rome, of all places, who would have thought it? This is where the last pope is buried now. At the time, he was still very much alive. And yeah, I added some people into this one as well. They're not the main focus, so it doesn't matter that they don't look that much like people. Here I'm doing my little half framing, letting this poke out of the frame. I went through a bit of a splattery day, splattering these, I like it. Then I came home and I painted my flowers, my plants. This was my orchid, who is not looking anything like this anymore. She has no flowers, bless her. Patricia O. Cassandra Porthos. She is much bigger than that now. She's almost taken over the room, actually. Park Güell. I had a couple of friends come to visit me. This is called El Drac. I think it's like a gecko or a dragon or something. Have I said what it is? It's a lizard that comes down the main staircase, and we called him Pedro. And again, journaling over here. Went to visit my friend in Palma de Mallorca, and this is Olivera de Cort. This is an old olive tree. I'm not sure how old it is. I should have written it down. And this is in the middle of a square in the middle of Palma de Mallorca. My friend that I visited in Mallorca, he's Argentinian. So obviously we were drinking mate, which is very bitter. It's a bit like tea, and the idea is you pass it around and everybody takes mate. And this is called yerba. I really like it. I think it's an acquired taste, maybe. Not everybody loves it, but I really quite like it. Mate is the name of the pot, the cup that you drink it out of. Playa Samarador in Mallorca. This is called a chiringuito. This is a beach bar. I was trying to recreate the same vibe I had here, but I don't know, I think I put too much pressure on myself to try and recreate this that I kind of failed. I still think it's cute, but it's not exactly the same vibe as the other one. Maybe it needed some people in it. So this is halfway through the sketchbook. This is where my sketchbook tour is going to finish for today. This is on the same beach as the Chiringuito, Cala Samarador. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. And I really like that there was this, I think this is a boathouse because there's ramps down here for the boats to get into the water. And I use my bent nib fountain pen for this one. As you can see, this one here with the bent nib. So this gives me different thicknesses of lines, and I really try to lean into this thick line to help me stay really loose. I put some people in the water, and I tried to keep it quite limited, which is why the people are the same color as the beach. I hope you've enjoyed looking through my sketchbook with me today, and I hope you will tune in for part 2 as well, whenever that may be. And please let me know in the comments, which is your favorite sketch from this sketchbook? Is there anything you think I should sketch that I haven't sketched? And maybe I might demo how I did some of these sketches. Let me know which one you would like a demo of in the comments below. And I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!